The first thing, as soon as I heard that there was going to be new material added to the Killing Joke, my first thought is, it's a hell of a sacred calf to be playing with.
Yeah.
Well,
that's why we added the stuff. That's and the way we added it, the way we did. The original source material is just too short. Just straight up is just too short to make a feature film out of. Which we actually, the first couple times we talked about doing it as a movie, that's all we were going to do, was just going to do just the comic, and it was going to be about a 30-minute movie. So we said, okay, we're going to expand it to feature length. What's the best way to do that? We could have literally stuck in a bunch of sequences in amongst all the events of the Killing Joke and expanded to feature length, and we could have made it more like a traditional movie and give it like a more of a slam bang finale or whatever. We absolutely didn't want to do that. So we thought our best bet would be to add a whole complete mini movie that's almost completely separate from the Killing Joke to the front of the film, and it also kind of helped us with one of the problems I've always had with the comic is that Barbara basically is a plot device in the original comic. She's not really a fully rounded character at all. So this gave us a chance to, spend more screen time with Batman and Batgirl and Barbara. And it's almost a completely separate story, which I think is, honestly, when I watch it, it's the part of the movie I like just as much as the Killing Joke part. So in a weird kind of way, it's not really messing with the sacred cow.
Now, I think one of the interesting elements of that is that thinking all the way back to when you first started doing these DC animated features, there was like the Catwoman short that was on the Batman Year One and thing. Like the DVDs used to come with a mini movie on the front of it as a standard feature.
Yeah.
Is that something that even occurred to you, that you were kind of going back to form when you had to do this?
No, it's a completely different thing, because those were like bonus content. This is, it's maybe a little bit of a bait and switch in that we kind of folded it into the entire story, into the movie, but it's kind of a separate animal. It's weird because it's, like I said, even though it's not completely connected to the Killing Joke, it kind of is, and to understand that, you'll have to see the movie to see what I'm talking about. But it's like, even though the Joker is not even mentioned in part one, there are things in Batman and Barbara's relationship that kind of informs what happens in the Killing Joke. So it's subtle, but so it's not completely disconnected the way those DC Nation shorts were.
Now, obviously, when you're looking at a book like this, more than almost any of the other movies that you've done, Brian Bolland's touch really helped to define that.
Absolutely.
Did you guys put a little bit more time necessarily than usual in trying to kind of craft that tone? Because I know a lot of the time the New 52 animated movies have become a little bit more house style.
Yeah. Well, this movie has its own unique look that doesn't look like the 52 movies. We tried to do what we could to put in little visual things that kind of connected to what Brian did in the comic, but there was no way we were going to make it look like Brian Bolland drew this comic. There's not another person in the world who draws like Brian Bolland except Brian. So we didn't try that hard to try to crack the DNA of Brian Bolland's art style. But like I said, we did what we could to kind of adapt it, but we just knew going in there was no way it was going to be, a perfect match. So